Hi, Neil Wilding here with Stonewood Financial. I want to welcome everyone. Today's study group topic, and we're going to cover marketing ideas for what we're calling distance advising. Certainly unique times call for unique strategies, and that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. But first, I just wanted to start off with a large thank you. Thank you to the membership community that's dialed in today to listen into this webinar, as well as all of the advisors that we work with. We've accumulated such a unique, powerful group of members here at Stonewood Financial, made up of some of the most brightest minds in our industry. And so it's an honor to share this space with everyone. And, when we look at what the market is doing now, it certainly feels like unprecedented times. But for the market and market turbulence, we've experienced this before. And what I've found is that, if you look at the most recent, times we've had market turbulence, if you look back to the dot-com bubble bursting, followed by the financial crisis that we experienced, those times, certainly were turbulence, but the advisors that thrived in those times were the advisors that were able to adapt and find new ways to do business in those times. And what they saw was tremendous growth coming out of that. And we have that same opportunity here. In fact, as we look out our window, you don't see much activity going on. It feels like, just looking at activity in our major cities, it doesn't feel like much. But then I log into our website today and I look at the activity that we have on our website. I see that just this week alone, over 250 new client files have been created. That's 250 new opportunities for members in the Stonewood community. Of those 250 client files, over 400 different scenarios have been run for them. So we see, we're taking the Stonewood tools, being able to create reports, open up a file on new clients, and run different scenarios. That's activity, that's life, and I just love to see it happening on our website. I also logged in to see some of the activity of our digital downloads, and I see that over 200 of you logged in and downloaded the No Compromise seminar. I see over 350 people have downloaded the 5 benefits of IUL one-pager that we put out there. Multiple resources getting hundreds of clicks on the website. That's lively, that's activity. And those are the advisors, as you're using those materials, are going to thrive in this environment. So with that being said, let's talk about, why so many people are downloading the seminar. Why are so many people going onto the site? Let's talk about some ideas here on how to be active in today's times. The first starts with books. And, the baby boomer community, actually every community really, has been forced to hunker down. And they're, inside the 4 walls of their home, people are looking for things to do. Internet networks are flooded because people are streaming so much now. And, the Netflix and the Hulus out there, everyone's kind of running out of TV shows to watch. Well, as an advisor, why not kind of check in on your stock of the books that you can order through Stonewood, the No Compromise Retirement Plan, the New Rules of Retirement Saving, and start sending those books out to existing clients, to prospects, with a little handwritten note. In fact, I would urge any of the clients that you've accumulated, in building your business that don't currently have a tax-free component, send them a book. Send them a copy of this book. It's interesting. I follow, I get a lot of the same bulk emails that many of you get from, IMOs and carriers and everyone wanting advisors to pay attention. And of course, the hot new topics now are talking about going back to existing clients and going back to that well. And of course, those are the people that are going to be most likely to talk to you in a digital setting. But here's the thing, you can't just go back to them with the exact same message. You have to offer something new. And majority of the advisors that we work with built a very successful practice using index annuities to round out a client's overall portfolio. And guess what part of that portfolio is really holding up right now? The index part, right? Well, we could, many people are saying, well, go back to them and try and get more of those assets into an annuities. And you certainly can do that, but that's just going back to the well with the same story. How about going back to the well with a new message, saying, listen, the indexing strategy that we put forth for you has been, is really holding up well in light of, the market turbulence we see. Let's take that indexing strategy and expand that into a part of your portfolio that can also immunize your account from taxes. And so use the success of the indexing strategy to springboard yourselves into a new conversation with your clients about taxes. The No Compromise Retirement Plan is a great way to do that. And so go and check for these books. And send every client you have that doesn't have IUL right now, especially those with large balances in their IRAs, and send them a copy of this book and drop a little handwritten note. In fact, on the website, we've also authored a few letters. If you want to print out a letter or kind of borrow some of the copy that we have, feel free to do that. But I think it's now more than ever, clients are kind of looking for stuff to do. And why not do your clients a favor and drop them, some entertainment, which is the No Compromise Retirement Plan book, and go ahead and just send it out in the mail. Now more than ever, those are going to get read. Now, what those baby boomer clients also have are working age children. And actually, the first book that we wrote was called The New Rules of Retirement Saving. It's that same tax story, but it's for a younger generation of saver, what we'll call new money, where money it's, we're trying to make the decision on where we should put our savings. And the New Rules is a great story for them. And so for your baby boomer clients that bought an index annuity for you, drop them a copy of the No Compromise Retirement Plan in the mail and talk to them about how we can expand upon the success of the indexing strategy into a strategy that's going to get them tax-free income for part of the portfolio, immunize part of the portfolio from the IRS, tell that unique tax story, but then also drop a copy of the New Rules for them to give to their working age children. And I think it's just a great way to use the expanded universe of Stonewood to your advantage. And by the way, I'm not doing this to try and sell books. As all of you know, the members, if you're a Stonewood member, you get these at cost. And so it's, I don't know, $5-6 a copy. And just kind of check on your inventory of these books and make sure you have enough. And what a great idea to just, go to an old-fashioned book. And because, libraries are closed, like I said, the internet's flooded. Give them a nice little idea and wrap it in the form of a book. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that we seem to talk about on every study group we have, which is this total tax burden report that you can run. And I'm going to do it here again because regardless of whether someone's coming into the office or you're setting up a Zoom or a Skype or whatever digital format you like to use, what a great way to differentiate yourself from other advisors in your market. And so what I would recommend, we just talked about sending your clients a book. Well, the next step in that is running this total tax burden report for them, because it's what makes you different in your market. It allows you to calculate the IRS's role in your clients' lives over their lifetime, like their total role. Like no other advisor is able to provide that level of analysis for them. And so most people, when they come to Stonewood, it's because they had a client in mind or they were getting ready to host an event and wanted to be able to run a report for somebody specific. But the point of this is not just to go run the report, but run it for every client in your practice. Every client you have, go back to them and talk to them about how you have access to a new set of tools that is not available to the other advisors in your market. And just ask the question, has anyone ever evaluated the total taxes or the total role that taxes could play in their retirement? And the answer is no. No one's ever really done that before. And so use that to your advantage. It's a simple report. It takes just a few clicks. When I mentioned that, over 250 client files had been opened on the Stonewood site here in just the last few days, when I click into those files, most of them start with this report. And so what I want you to do, everybody on this call probably knows about this report, but have you thought about running it for everyone, right? Run it for everyone, because it's a level of analysis that they just haven't seen. And what you're going to find when you run that report is you're going to uncover other assets. And that's why, we're talking about going back to the well of your existing clients. You have to come with a new idea. Well, the reason, it gives you a perfect reason to interact with your client. And just tell them, tell your clients, hey, you got a fancy new toy, and you want to show that toy, and the output of that toy to them. And it's going to be very beneficial, because what's going to happen is they're going to look at the output of that report. They're going to realize that they have an over allocation to tax deferred assets, and you're going to quantify that for them. And by doing that, then we're going to then set forth a course of action to reallocate those assets to include some tax-free. And so the point of this is not just to mention the report, because we know that you're a Stonewood member, you know that report exists, but use it beyond just a few clients, right? Use it for everyone that you talk to, regardless of whether they could ever even buy IUL or not. It's just a great way to differentiate yourself. It's a report that you can run for everyone, and then of course, most of that is going to lead to some IUL business. All right, so the third one here, the topic that I want to cover are the webinar resources. So as people go back to the well and they approach their existing clients, the other question that comes up is, can we prospect still? So many people that we talk to built their successful career on seminar marketing, and clearly people aren't showing up to dinner seminars right now. So how are we going to find people? And this is where working with a company like Stonewood is going to be different than any other program that you've had before, any software, completely unique, because we didn't have to go create new stuff for this environment. They already existed. There are seminar presentations. I mentioned over 200 downloads here in the last few days of the No Compromise seminar. Why is that? Well, people need topics to talk about in a digital format. And so use those, download those. There are videos available to you. The other thing that's out there that most people don't know are these tax modules that we've created. And, we host IUL Masters every quarter here in Louisville. We also, host events for our IMO partners. So if you've attended one of those events, you've probably heard the language and the nuggets of conversation that we bring to the table. And that's, the feedback that we get from the events is that's one of the, favorite parts that people enjoy most is, oh, we love how you say this or how you say that about taxes. Ooh, love that. Take notes on that. And so we took those, what I like to say, nuggets of conversation, and turned them into tax modules, 1- and 2-page PowerPoint slides that you can use and incorporate into your day-to-day conversations, so that you have that Stonewood story infused into how you speak. And it's a great way to have a digital meeting. It's just, we're not talking about flipping through 40, 50, 60 slides here. With these tax modules, it's just a couple, but it's just a nice way to show, like, for example, the one you see on the slide there, it says macro versus micro. Well, that's how we talk about taxes and the tax analysis that we provide. Advisors that are focused on this year are what we call micro. They're looking through taxes through a micro lens. And that's where most people are used to looking at taxes is, what's the role of the IRS in my income this year? And it's quantified in that, in their W-2s and their 1040 EZs and their 1040s and the tax forms that they have to fill out, right? That's a micro view. You as an advisor are taking much further step, and you're taking a macro point of view. And we're not going to just look at this year and the write-offs you can get from your taxes this year. Let's look at over your lifetime and how can we save hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you've probably heard us say that, several times. But if you use these tax modules, it's a nice way for you to be able to say that and take the language that you learn from Stonewood and apply it to your practice. So I highly recommend you go in to the Stonewood site and seek out those tax modules. The next thing I'm going to recommend is our TV and radio scripts. And you might be thinking, well, and of course they were created for our advisors that have radio shows, TV programs, and I know not everyone on the call has one. But the reason I'm recommending this now is that they're really just another way to put those nuggets of conversation that we have. And so go and grab and download that document that we have, because you can use that as a conversation with one person, with 5 people, with 100 people digitally, right? And so it's just another way for you to take the Stonewood story. And while, yes, we did write this document for, say, radio show, it certainly applies to one-on-one conversations. So I would go download those documents. And then the next part of this is to work this language into your elevator speech and your mission statement. Work on it. And so as you have downtime as an advisor, work on your elevator speech and look at your business, at the mission statement that you've created for your business. And at the forefront of that should be the fact that you're an advisor that looks to save your clients hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and then use that tax savings to generate significantly more income and or wealth and legacy for your clients while taking risk off the table. And those nuggets of conversation, infuse that not only into your day-to-day conversations, but into your elevator speech. Make sure that your clients hear that within 30 seconds of talking to them. And then also write it into your mission statement. Make it who you are as an advisor. That's the type of stuff that's going to resonate in today's environment. And by the way, all the talk of tax savings here, right? I mean, it's fantastic that we have a government that can help take care of a country when we're in need, and we're certainly in need right now. But everyone understands that that comes at a cost, and that comes at the cost of future taxpayers. And so it doesn't come at the cost of present taxpayers, right? So if we have an opportunity to convert our tax strategy to avoid having to pay the bill down the road, it's certainly a message that's going to resonate, especially now, because the ideas that we're talking about here are ideas that you're going to implement today and come out the other end, and they're going to work regardless of what's going on in the markets or outside our windows, right? They're going to be strategies that are going to work. And so as society returns to being outside and meetings and working with people, that's when the reality is going to set in, and we're going to have to pay the bill. And that's going to come through taxes. And so an advisor that can have a tax planning, clients are going to understand that none of this stuff's free. And so if we can get into a situation where we can help save our clients money in taxes, you're going to have a chance to be the hero. All right, finally, we just talked about this digital content and the message that we're putting forth. We curated that for you into a new website for advisors that still want to do some prospecting. Clearly that needs to be done now in a digital capacity. And so we've put together an entire landing page for you on how to host what we call a retirement tax summit. And this is an event where normally you would invite people and buy them dinner and have them come out to a ballroom or a hotel or whatever it may be, or a fancy restaurant. Instead, what we're going to do is use technology that we have, and we're going to host a webinar. And like we talked about with the books, especially the boomer community, they're stuck within those 4 walls, and they're looking for things to do. And so the advisors that get out on this early are going to be the advisors that can deliver and get to those clients via digital webinar. You're going to get them first. And so it's a great opportunity to continue our prospecting. And so Stonewood is going to be a partner that's going to help you get there. Again, we didn't have to create new resources. It's the same story. It's the same slides. It's the same seminar. But what we're going to do is condense that message into something. We're going to truncate it a little bit to fit more of a digital consumption, but with the same powerful punch. And these are events that have proven to generate significant revenue, and now we're bringing that to the digital format. So when you're done with this recording or done with this webinar, what I want you to do is go to this landing page and just click through the steps that we've created on how to host what we'll call a digital, retirement tax summit webinar. So before we go, I just want to show you a slide, and it's amazing to see how things can change so quickly. Here at Stonewood, we've got many advisors that have been working with us for over 3 years. And one of the things we have to do every year is update our power of indexing slide. And so when we did the update this year, it was the most significant growth we've seen in a long time. And so the S&P from 2018 to 2019 returned over 31%. It was an amazing run up in the market for the S&P 500. By the way, that red line does include dividends, like always, but 31% run up in the market. And so what happened was, everyone understands we do this power of indexing chart, and you can go to the website and download it in this form, and you always have been. And so, for the last, first week in January, we had the numbers updated, we had the website pushed out, and we noticed for the first time, the red line kind of caught up to the green line. And, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's good that the market's been good, and with indexing, we're going to experience some upside growth. But you can kind of see the tracking of the line there. For a while, the green line was way ahead, and the green line represents an indexing strategy. For this conversation, we used the 11% cap. But what happened was, the green line had a lead, really. Since the turn of the century, it's been ahead. And so for the first time, the red line caught up to it. And so everyone said, well, what are you going to talk about now? And our point is, that we would do in our training was that that's okay, right? Like we're just trying to show that for the same amount of, similar returns over a long term, we can take risk off the table. And even in a situation where the 2 points are ending at the same as far as the returns go, what path is a client going to like better? Are you going to like that slow and steady, 0% floor strategy, or are you on the wild ride of the market? And everyone's going to embrace the power of indexing strategy. Well, now, today, March 19th, as we're recording this, we know that the market's not there anymore. And so it's just a jarring slide to show you that if we were to just include the last, 2.5 months, it's amazing how just a short period of time things can change. And what happened is we've given them back a lot of the market growth that we've experienced over the last several years. That all of that 31% is gone. And so if you were to look at this now, at the end of before the year, at the end of the year, the average return of the market was 6%, just from this down point, and that dates back all the way to 2000. Just from these last few months, now the average return of the market is 442. Like it's lost 1.5 points. Yet indexing is held strong. And what better way to show the power of indexing than to show that we didn't have to give anything back that we gained. Now, this is a slide that we just created for this conversation. We're working on an advisor use only piece because technically you do have to wait till the end of the year in order to fully capture this for the client approved piece. But boy, is it important to just see that the power of indexing is certainly something to embrace, especially when you're in the life insurance chassis that can offer a little bit more upside. Such a great way to see, the power of indexing. So with that being said, what next? What's next, right? I just gave you 3 different ideas on how to move forward in today's environment. If you are a Stonewood member, which most of the folks here on the call today are, reach out to your member services representative, whether it's Eddie, whether it's Alec, get some time on their calendar. We do stay very busy. Alec and Eddie, it's their job to be on the phone with members on a daily basis. but their calendars do fill up. So what I urge you to do is go on to their calendar, and the link that you see on the screen there is how you get a hold of them. Throw some time on their calendar so that you can go through some of these ideas with them. They can walk you through that landing page that we created for the digital webinar. They can show you if you need to replenish some books, your book supply, they can help you with that. Or maybe you just need some new training. Maybe you signed up for Stonewood 6 months ago and you kind of, forgot, about, what really excited you about signing up, and you want to get re-engaged. Those guys are here for you. For the small portion of the audience that is not a current member, you owe it to yourself to at least spend some time with Tyler. A lot of the things that we covered today on the webinar are exclusive to members, and so you have access to it. Just talk to Tyler about getting signed up. Schedule a demo with him, and the link for his calendar is right there. It's his job to spend time with folks that are interested in Stonewood and to demo the real value of membership, which we've covered here over the last 30 minutes, but there's a whole universe of materials that he can show that'll be at your fingertips as a Stonewood member. I'm going to wrap this up really the way that I started it. I just want to thank you again to the advisor community that we've created here at Stonewood. I love every time, every minute I spend working with advisors on a daily basis is time well spent. I enjoy it. I value the relationships that we have. And I just wanted to read to you three more numbers, 22,000, 13,000, and 61,000. Those are the target premiums for 3 cases that I heard about today from advisors that reached out to me, whether it be email or phone call, saying, Neil, thank you so much for your help in this case. Just so you know, we closed it. So that is live, active business being done in this environment. Do not accept that we're shutting down, right? There are plenty of ideas for you to go forth and prosper. So I look forward to hearing many more calls from those of you that are on the phone today with the numbers that you're generating in your success stories. So thanks again, everyone. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and take care. Be safe.